family is very important to me, not just the nuclear family, which is the children and myself in the house. I have a very close extended family as well. I speak to my brothers, to my sister, as much as I can. There is limited family time, though. I must be honest with you. I try as much as possible to have meals with the family, to talk about life, to watch whatever is being watched, and God help me, the things that I have watched on TV when it's family time. There was a time when they were watching something that was called Isibaya. It was the best thing. So whatever I arrive being watched, I watch it. And when there was Generations, I was watching Generations. When they were smaller, it was Seven de Lang, and I watched it, learned my Afrikaans in the process. Play chess with the kids, and if it's weekends, I do try also to have time with my friends, which is working together, and I occasionally go to the movies, but to be honest, I haven't seen the inside of a movie house, except maybe on a flight. You know. But family is important. When it comes to family, they know if somebody needs to see me, they might as well even make an appointment and come to my office. I try as much as I can to accommodate family, yes. Then, Kian, my vision of the office was around a place of shelter for those who feel they've been wronged by the state, and giving them prompt justice whilst fixing the system. And I think you're getting there, that the idea was we do not want to be a bandage for a problem that remains unsolved. So if we get a lot of complaints from workers' compensation, we then do a systemic there to make sure what is the cause of the waterfall, and lessons learned, we throw them back into the system and we get them to close the waterfall. So we pride ourselves with it. Some of the places where we have intervened very systemically, we don't get a lot of bleeding. In Mpumalanga, we did a report called A Glimmer of Hope, for example, at a place that was burning at the time we went there, Dipaliseng. When we exited, we had held their hands to identify where the problems were. Here in Johannesburg, in Bramfisherville, we came in when there was excrement everywhere and the people were up in arms. Again, we held their hand both to handle the problems there, the sewerage system, but also to handle the complaints, the internal complaint system. We also help them to strengthen their institutional complaints mechanisms. It's part of the ombudsman's way, is that you don't want small complaints to come to you. Secondly, you don't want the same complaints all the time. Our growth has been lateral, so we haven't grown in the same departments. We've grown in new areas. So as more people get to know about us, other municipalities and new departments involve us. So my vision going forward, though, is that we should never get the small complaints. The good administration should be systematized, especially service delays. The kind of complaints we get here in South Africa are not likely to be received by my colleague in Sweden or in the UK. For example, where a child comes to you and say, for 7 years I've been trying to get an ID. It's matric now, I have not been able to apply for university and to apply. So they don't get that. So you're trying then to make sure that those kinds of things never ever happen. You get just the complex things where people drop the ball. So we fix the problem and fix the system. That is our vision. We're not there yet. The second thing in terms of my vision was also to grow with the team. We talk about learning and growing together. And I think we're succeeding on that. I had a strategic planning session recently with the team. I arrived a few hours later because I had gone to a presentation with the chartered accountants. And when I got there, they had owned the journey. They had identified what the issues, they had identified where they want to go. They were beginning to rethink where are we going to prioritize the 80-20, the 20-80 principle. They were looking at what are the 20% things that we're going to focus on with a view to making impact. And I was very happy in that my absence was not felt. And throughout the conference or the strategic planning session, I was in but doing other things, sitting there and working on my computer. And the conversation was going excellently. I felt that really if you asked, when I exited in 2016, you asked what happened to Thuli Madonsela, they would ask Thuli who? Because the system, the system is functioning. But we also want to make sure that if you go to one of our offices in the rural areas, for example, in Bisho, you don't feel a difference in service standards. That wherever you go, the quality of service is the same and the speed of service is the same.